Koki returns to the castle along with the others. Everyone is happy to meet their friends once again and are having fun at the castle. However, Koki is depressed in the corner. Meanwhile, Nagumo Hajime's group are traveling through the barren desert, seemingly devoid of all life. On their way, Yue and Kaori have a fight over Hajime. Their banter is cut short by a sight of sandworms up ahead. The sandworms decide to attack them and Hajime is forced to fend off against them. The worms start getting closer and Hajime has to sway the vehicle left and right to dodge their attacks. Hajime turns the car and drives backwards to face the sandworms. He activates the rocket launchers and shoots the sandworms with them. With this, the sandworms are defeated. Some more sandworms on Earth to attack the group, but they're swiftly taken care of by the front gun in the vehicle. They find an injured priest in the desert who turns out to be suffering. This affliction is caused by the consumption of a poisonous substance. Kaori deduces that the person will die if not given treatment. Kaori absorbs his excess mana in her ring through her light magic. His pain is relieved, but it's temporary, and if they don't fix the cause of the problem, he'll go into mana overload again. The person wakes up and they take him inside. The priest introduces himself as Bize, the son of the Duke Ankaji. Since Ankaji is the town the gang is heading towards, they ask him what's going on in the town. Bize tells them that everyone in town is collapsing from fever due to a poisoned drinking water, which led to mana overload. He doesn't know who poisoned the waters, but he has found a cure, which lies in a mineral called siltstone. When ingested, the mineral can calm the mana. It can be mined from the Gruen volcano. The group decides to help Bize and the residents of Ankaji. Meanwhile, in the Demon Kingdom, General Fried hears about the death of Katlia at Hajime's hand. Furious, he begins preparations for killing him. Hajime's group arrives at Ankaji and meets Bize's father. While Kaori and Mew treat the sick, Hajime senses the presence of a demon within the oasis and throws grenades to force it out. The monster shows itself and attacks the group. Hajime kills the monster by shooting its mana crystal. With the source of the pollution removed, the group heads to Gruen volcano where they find the siltstone, while Kaori and Mew stay behind. The group reaches the volcano and begins exploring it. They travel deeper to find bigger chunks of siltstone. On their way, they run into a bull monster which is swiftly defeated by Shay. Tio deduces that this volcano is the site of the third labyrinth, where Hajime's ability to remain focused will be tested despite the heat. The group uses a boat to ride waves of molten lava to make their way towards the core. They're attacked by snakes and have to abandon their boat. They're able to eliminate all the snakes, however Hajime is hit by a lightning beam. The girls tend to Hajime's wounds and fend off the incoming attacks. The perpetrator behind the attack is revealed to be none other than Fried. The group retaliates against Fried and takes him head-on. His dragon proves to be a force to be reckoned with and causes considerable damage to the group. Tio transforms into a black dragon and duels Fried. Hajime launches a surprise attack on Fried and knocks him off his dragon. With Fried defeated, he destroys the cornerstone that was keeping the lava from erupting, thus trapping the group. Hajime tells Tio to escape with his ring, while he and the others find another exit. Meanwhile, at the palace, Lily tells Shizuku that the king is discussing branding Hajime as a heretic. Daisuke Hiyama, who tried to kill Hajime and is obsessed with Koki, is approached by a mysterious classmate and is presented a deal that will benefit both. Tio returns to Ankaji and is understandably fatigued due to what transpired. She's looked after by Kaori and Mew at Ankaji. They plan to head to Erison to reunite Mew with her mother. Meanwhile, Hajime's group stumble upon the core of the labyrinth and seize the amulet holding its power. They're able to escape the volcanic eruption by using a submarine. They dive through the waters and reach the surface. As they're talking to the merfolk, they're found by Tio's group. Together, they reach Erison, and Mew is reunited with her mother. Kaori tends to Mew's mother's wounded leg. Meanwhile, at the palace, Aiko tells Shizuku that Hajime has officially been branded as a heretic by the church for refusing to comply with their orders. Shizuku is shocked to hear this and asks Aiko why this is happening. Aiko recalls that the king and the nobles are behaving strangely lately. Hajime's group leaves Erison for a while and heads out on a quest to explore the underwater ruins of Melusine, which happens to be the site of the fourth labyrinth. Hajime takes out the amulet they found at the third labyrinth and turns it towards the moon. A beam of light emerges from the amulet and strikes the ocean. They follow the light and are sucked in by the flow. As they move deeper into the core and stumble upon an underwater cave that isn't submerged in water, they easily deal with the monsters the labyrinth throws at them, which leads Hajime to wonder why the monsters are so weak here. Soon they're attacked by jelly monsters that appear to melt magic. Yue's force field turns out to be way too weak to keep the monsters at bay. The jelly monsters join together to form a bigger monster. With their combined attacks, they destroy that monster, but it soon regenerates and attacks them. In the commotion, the group gets separated. Hajime and Kaori find themselves on a ship being ambushed by other ships. Hajime realizes that they're having an illusion. Together, they escape the ships and have some time to talk to each other. Hajime tells Kaori that she should stop comparing herself to Yue. He further tells her that Yue is the one he loves, and she should leave him if she can't accept that. Ouch. Meanwhile, at the palace, a mysterious nun kidnaps Aiko but is noticed by Lily. As Kaori and Hajime explore the dungeon, they are transported to a scene in the past. The scene consists of a party where humans, demons, and beastmen join each other. Everyone has gathered here for a peace treaty between all the races after the end of the war. However, the king breaks the treaty and proceeds to murder everyone present on the boat, since he only tolerates those who worship Ehit, their god. As they move forward, Kaori is possessed by a spirit. Hajime refuses to be fooled by the spirit and keeps shooting it to force it out of her body. The spirit finally leaves Kaori's body, and Kaori kisses Hajime and tells him that she wants to be by his side, even though he only has feelings for Yue. The two move forward and reach the core of the labyrinth, where they are reunited with others. Hajime collects the proof of conquest. The group is suddenly attacked by the same monster from before. The monster appears to be unkillable due to its regenerative powers. Hajime says that he'll need minutes before he can summon a strong weapon. Suddenly, Lesson, the fish, shows up and attacks the monster with a shoal of fishes. This gives Hajime enough time to prepare his weapon and shoot the monster with it. The monster blows up and is defeated. Meanwhile, at the palace, the students are worried that Aiko hasn't come back, unaware that she's being held captive at the Divine Mountain. Hajime's group returns to Urizen and decides to stay for a few days. Hajime realizes that they now need to leave, but he's reluctant to leave Miu. Miu's mother thanks Hajime for thinking about Miu's happiness and assures him that Miu will be fine after he leaves the island. Hajime tells Miu that he's going to leave the island. When Miu gets sad, he promises that he'll come back to her once everything is ended. He tells her that she can come visit Earth with him once he finds a way back there. After saying goodbye to Miu and her mother, the group prepares for the journey ahead. Meanwhile, Lily escapes the castle because she doesn't trust anyone in the castle after witnessing the kidnapping of Aiko. After that, Aiko wakes up and asks her captives why she's been locked up, but the nun refuses to elaborate. The Demon Lord's forces prepare to launch an attack on the humans. Back at the castle, Commander Meld talks to a soldier about the void that has affected the majority of the soldiers and is making them feel lethargic. Commander Meld decides to send a letter to Hajime to let him know what's happening in the castle. Daisuke shows up at his door and tells him that he wants to discuss something with him. As he lets him in, Meld's subordinate knocks on the door. When Meld opens the door, he's attacked by his possessed subordinate. Commander Meld wrestles his subordinate and tells Daisuke to run away. However, Daisuke uses the opportunity to stab Commander Meld in the back. Turns out the stab wasn't enough to kill Commander Meld. He uses the magic to free himself and battles the possessed soldiers. He knocks all of them unconscious, including Daisuke. However, they soon get up and are joined by more soldiers. Commander Meld is forced to flee. Outside, he's killed by Apostle Noit. The mysterious student finds the letters Commander Meld was supposed to send to Hajime. She destroys the letters while scheming her next plan. Meanwhile, Hajime's group runs into some bandits that are looting a group of travelers. Hajime begins shooting at the bandits while Kaori tends to the wounds of the travelers. As they save the travelers, they run into Lily. Lily tells the group that she ran from the castle to look for Aiko. She tells them everything that has been going on in the castle, including the branding of Hajime as a heretic. She tells them that the security of the castle has been compromised, therefore she wants help from the outside. Hajime decides to free Aiko from the prison at Divine Mountain, which also happens to be the site of the 5th labyrinth. They reach the castle and Hajime frees Aiko from her prison by destroying the wall. As they prepare to leave, Hajime senses that the demons have broken the barrier and are going to attack the lands of the Haley Kingdom. Hajime rescues Aiko, however, Apostle Noit appears and attacks them. The forces of the Demon Lord surround the walls of the capital and start attacking it. The walls start to give in and begin to crumble into dust. The dragons of the demon army get inside the capital and begin attacking. Tio transforms into a dragon and starts looking for Hajime. Yue and Shay are suddenly attacked by Freed and his soldiers, but thanks to Yue's magic, they survive the blast. Freed tells them that this time he's going to kill all of them. However, it turns out that he underestimated their abilities as they wiped out a good chunk of his dragon army. Half the army goes after Yue while the other half goes after Shay. The demon commander confronts Shay and swears revenge for killing Catlia. Shay uses her hammer to repel his army. She starts using long-range attacks to take them out. Despite his best tactics, he's defeated by Shay. Meanwhile, Yue's also giving Freed a tough time. As she gets overwhelmed by the demons, she summons dragons of her own that destroy his demon army. He then uses a powerful attack to stun her before impaling her through the chest. However, she uses magic to reverse the attack, which critically wounds Fried and his dragon. He's forced to retreat following his defeat. Meanwhile, Hajime is at a disadvantage fighting Noint due to him trying to protect Aiko. He does his best to block all of her attacks by using force fields and magic shields. Tio finds him and Hajime tells Tio to take care of Aiko before resuming his fight with Noint. Aiko decides to use her magic powers and help Tio take out enemies. Meanwhile, none of Hajime's attacks do any damage to Noint. Despite his best attacks, she brushes them off. Since she's way too fast, he's having difficulty aiming at her. When Noint closes in and slashes him, he uses the opportunity to launch an attack and blast her. This time, Noint takes damage. With Noint taking damage, he shatters her swords through his repeated use of bullets. She's defeated and falls to her death. Meanwhile, with Tio and Aiko's combined attack, the temple is blown off completely. Hajime joins the two. Aiko starts crying when she realizes that the explosion has killed all the priests. Hajime consoles her. The group notices the spirit of the Liberator and follows him. He guides them towards the core of the labyrinth. He collects the proof of the conquest. Meanwhile, the students at the castle wake up and realize the monsters are invading the castle. Eri suggests everyone to regroup with the knights before doing anything on their own. The group joins the knights, but the knights start killing the students, as they are possessed by none other than Eri, who was a traitor all along. She's also revealed to be the mystery person guiding Daisuke. Eri subdues Koki and kisses him, revealing that she's in love with him and intends to turn him into an undead so she can keep him with her forever as a mindless servant. Because if they don't love you back, turn them into a mindless slave. She tells Shizuku that she was using her modified necromancy spells to control the dead knights. She did all of that because she wanted Koki all to herself, and she couldn't bear Koki caring about other classmates. She has another classmate killed in front of them and turns them into her puppet using necromancy. She prepares to kill Shizuku so she can turn her into a puppet as well. However, Kaori and Lily arrive to stop her. Kaori tries to heal the classmates, but Daisuke shows up and stabs Kaori. However, Kaori completes the spell and heals the classmates. Daisuke stabs her again before Kaori can heal herself. With Koki freed from his shackles, he unleashes his wrath on the undead knights. The other students also start to retaliate. A possessed Commander Meld shows up to stop Koki. Koki is slashed by a poisoned sword which paralyzes him. Before Eri can turn Koki into an undead, Hajime and the others show up. Hajime punches Daisuke away before tending to Kaori. As Tio and Aiko take care of Kaori, Hajime starts killing everyone without mercy. He takes some inspiration from Rambo and pulls out a minigun to take out all the soldiers. Before he can kill Eri, Daisuke attacks him but is plummeted by Hajime, and with a brutal kick to the face, sends Daisuke flying outside where he is quite brutally dismantled by demons. Fried arrives and tells Hajime to surrender, saying that he can't kill all his monsters. Hajime uses a weapon he developed to instantly vaporize all of his monsters. Eri escapes with Fried. Hajime tells the group to take away Kaori's body so they can bring her back to life. Hajime promises Shizuku that she will once again see Kaori. Lily comes to know that the attack on the castle was orchestrated by Eri, who was working with the demons. The nun responsible for the kidnapping is still missing. As the group is trying to save Kaori's soul, Hajime goes to console Aiko, who mourns the loss of her students. After Hajime consoles her, Aiko tells her that she's glad she helped them in the war. Hajime tells Aiko not to become like him since he can no longer feel any guilt after taking countless lives. Hajime's group returns to the students. When asked about Kaori, Hajime tells them that she's fine, albeit she looks much different now. They're all surprised to see Kaori's new body. Turns out that she willingly transferred her soul in the body of the Apostle Noit, so she could become stronger. Kaori's original body is safely stored in a frozen state. The students are furious to learn that the god of this world, Ehit, was merely using everyone as pawns for his entertainment. After hearing about this, Koki wants to fight Ehit and free the people of this world. However, Hajime is reluctant to fight the battle he didn't start. Later, Hajime's group prepares for their journey to the next labyrinth. Koki and the other students want to join him on his endeavor so they can become strong enough to protect their loved ones. Hajime agrees to take them with him. The other students join Lily as she intends to meet the Emperor and tell him about Ehit's plans. At dawn, the group prepares to embark on a new adventure along with new students. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.